welcome. Long time no see. It's been a while since we have seen you. And this is the Tell Me That Story show where we talk about a bunch of stuff. Talk about history. I'm sorry. I don't know why, because it's not I, it's we. We talk about history, religion, mythology. We talk about a whole bunch of things. It's a very funny and interesting show where we have pretty much covered all continents. I think that the only thing we're missing is something down in Oceania, in the Australian continent, but we might do something like that soon. So, Ita, how are you and what do you have in store for us today?
So we're going to continue reading Sufi stories from My Love You, My Grandchildren, from the teacher Sheikh Bawa.
Okay.
And this story, I just pulled it up, and I think it's very relevant to what we were doing before
All right.
from our little stint on Flat Earth versus the Globe. This story is called The Song.
Wait, hold on. Before you start, I have two things to say. Real Signet said that though Sufi was awesome, and then I want to read you something. I don't know if you got there, but there was an interaction on the previous show we finished just now. And while we give it a second for people to join in and stuff, uh, Christine Marshall, the last thing she said was, I always tell people I don't trust the mindset of people who can't answer correctly what came first, the chicken or the egg. But don't beat yourself up about what came first, the chicken or the egg, because even a master Freemason who has written books on what came first, the chicken or the egg, say a savant can't answer it. And then she made one final comment that also it made me die. The real answer to what came first, the chicken or the egg, is two. There couldn't be just one chicken or one egg. There had to be two because we were made by God in pairs. He's like, what?
I mean,
That was insane.
I'm impressed how some people think. It's like lots of magical thinking. I mean, that's the way I put it. When we use supernatural thinking, I call it magical thinking. We're using all
Yes.
this magical thinking and jazz hands and just all kinds of magical ideas. We have a magical idea over here, a magical idea over there. Let's just accept all the magical ideas. And I'm like, okay, beautiful magical ideas.
Yes, hold on. Before we start our story, our people are joining in. I'm going to get water because my throat is about to give out. Fortunately, it's your main chat duties tonight, but be right back.
All right, fam.
All right, I'm back.
Start tonight.
I don't
Okay.
know if I ever told you, but originally I had thought of this show as a show to basically do around this time. This is the like original idea from the concept of the show that I took inspiration from. It happens at this time because some of the things that I say, for example, during my chat, some of the stupid jokes that I make during when I have main chat duties, uh, if you would say stuff like that at 5 p.m., it wouldn't cost the same thing. I think that the night allows you to say stuff that you wouldn't necessarily be allowed. That they wouldn't be funny or they wouldn't be allowed in the middle of the day for some reason. It's like a stupid thing, but yeah, it's fun detail. All right, Isa, I'm not going to interrupt you anymore, so take it away.
So, just engaging with thinking about the Earth and the globe. This story is called the Song of the Dull-Witted Sun.
The what of the devil?
The dull-witted son.
Okay.
Um, my love you, my grandchildren. I'm going to tell you a story. Once upon a time, there was a mother and a son. His brains were not very clear, and he was not able to learn. He was sent to so many schools, but he could just not learn. One day his mother said, "Son, I have sent you to so many schools, but you are not learning. What am I to do with you?" She thought about this and decided, "You will have to go somewhere else to study." So the boy suggested, "If you give me a bag of money, I will go to a guru, learn from him, and then come back to you." The mother agreed, handed him a bag of money, and sent him on his way. As he walked along, he saw an owl peeping out of a hole in the tree, blinking its eyes. The moment he looked at the owl, he thought of a song. This is what he sang. "What is that peering out of a hole like an owl? I must sing this song to the king today." He left the bag of money at the foot of the tree. "This money is for the guru who taught me this song." A guru is a teacher, by the way. He,
Yes.
he said, and he went back home. His mother was surprised to see him so soon. "Aren't you going to study? I gave you a whole bag of money. If you give me one more bag of money, I will go and study some more tomorrow." So the mother pulled out another bag of money. "Well, all right."
Making it rain.
She said,
You're like,
"Here."
no.
She said, "Here, go and study." So the dull-witted son took the second bag of money and set out again. And the next day, along the way, he saw a palm tree. When he saw the tree, he sang, "Oh, who is standing there like a tall, tall tree? Now I want to sing two songs to the king." He gave the bag of money to the tree and went back home. On the third day, the mother asked him again, "Aren't you going to study today?" "If you give me a small bag of money, I will go," he replied. So once again, she gave him some money, and he sent out to study. On his way, he saw a little mouse digging a hole in the field. This inspired him to sing. "Oh, someone is digging a hole just like a little mouse. Now I want to sing three songs to the king." He put the bag of money near the mouse and went back home. He had learned three songs for three bags of money. The following day the mother asked, "Aren't you going to study?" "If you give me money, I will go," he said. Again, she gave him another bag of money. On his way, he saw a deer running very fast, and another song came to him. "Oh, someone is jumping like a deer. This makes me want to sing four songs." He gave the deer the bag of money and went back home. But now it was the fifth day, and her money was almost all gone. But still, the mother asked, "Aren't you going to study?" "If you give me money, I will go," the boy told her. And so he set out once again with another bag of money. On his way, he saw a woman with a pot of porridge on her head. She was running to the field to serve her husband. He called to her, "Amma, Amma, stop." Amma means mother.
Yes.
And then he sang, "Oh, it looks like someone is running with a pot of porridge on her head. This makes me want to sing five songs." He gave the woman the bag of money and went home. Meanwhile, two robbers in the area came to know the woman was giving her son money every day. "She must have a lot of money in her house," they said to each other. So that night the robbers came to the house. One of them peeped through the window. The mother saw him. She thought the robber would run away if he knew someone was awake in the house, and she shook her son. "Get up, get up, get up. Robbers! Quick, sing one of those songs you learned. And the boy sang the first song. What is that peering out of a hole like an owl? I must sing this song to the king today. The robber who was peeping through the window thought, oh, maybe he has seen me. Maybe he has seen me. So he stood behind the wall and hid himself. And the boy sang his second song. Oh, who is standing there like a tall, tall tree? Now I want to sing two songs to the king. The robber knew that he had been seen, and the boy sang the third song. Oh, someone is digging a hole just like a little mouse. Now I want to sing three songs to the king. The second robber, who was trying to break in through the wall, was in shock when he had realized he had been found out. He started jumping up and down. And then the boy sang the fourth song. Oh, someone is jumping like a deer. This makes me want to sing four songs. Now the robber, sure that he had been seen, grabbed the other robber, and they both grabbed their tools, put them on their heads, and started to run. And then the boy sang his fifth song. Oh, it looks like someone is running with a pot of porridge on his head. This makes me want to sing five songs. So the five songs the boy had learned turned out to be of great use to him. The first time he sang them, he had learned nothing. But during the robbery, they were very useful to him. He really had not learned a thing, but the songs turned to be of great value for that one moment. This is the type of studying you do in the world. You go to the guru, you give him money, and you learn a mantra. It might be a mantra like um, eem. The guru tells you this is a secret mantra, so do not tell it to anybody. Later, you will be able to sit and fly. Some of you give your money to learn a mantra like this. Does this help you? No, it does not help you. It is of no use to you. You have not learned wisdom. Now, if those robbers had listened to what the dull witted fellow was singing, they would have thought, he is a fool. These songs have no meaning. If the robber had bluffed their way through those five songs, they would have been successful, but they ran away instead. All the studying we do in the world is like this. We say we are learning mantras and tantras, and at some point, some particular moment, they might be of little use, but they will not be of any real value to you in your life. It cannot solve your problems. This is what people are doing today. They are learning the way the dull witted son learned. Real learning is not like that. What use is it to give money to an owl? What purpose does it to serve to give money to a little mouse or a palmyra tree that gives no shade? What is the use of feeding illusion? Is a deer going to use the money? It is like this when we pay to learn mantras or take intoxicants or drugs, and we think we're learning wisdom. Actually, it's dangerous. We are wandering about shouting in the world. It will not be of any permanent use, but some strange thing might happen that will make it seem useful, like the robbers being fooled and running away. This kind of learning will never satisfy you. It will not cut your karma, heal your illnesses, or stop the angel of death. It will never give freedom to your life and soul. Therefore, my children, understand what it is that you must study. If you want to receive the kingdom of God, the wealth of God, then you go on the right path in the correct qualities. You must be clear when you learn. There was an old saying: when you set out to do something, you can accomplish about one quarter of the task by using mantras and three quarters by using good judgment. But trickery is the best method of all. Believing that some people lead their lives with mantras, tricks, and lies, they lead their lives by tricking others and using them. If you do this, it will all end in disaster. And you will finally say, everything is gone. I have nothing to live for. I have been cheated out of everything. This is the disaster you will have to face in the end. You must look for truth. You must have faith in God. With the qualities of God, you must perform God's duties. You need wisdom. If you search for wisdom, you will learn the secret of your life. Have faith, be honest, and try to understand your life through wisdom. Try to reach freedom for your soul. When all other learnings, you are just throwing away your money and giving away your body and life. They are no use to you. My love you, my children. Think about this. Try to
All
learn the
right.
direct, straight knowledge through wisdom and clear life. My loving grandchildren and grandsons and granddaughters, think about this. May God give you his wisdom, peacefulness. My love you. Amin. Who do you dedicate this story to, brother?
Ah, that's a tough one. Hold on. Ashton Richards says, I think he needs to buy a sword instead. ah, I don't know. I think that those who go in the actual search of for knowledge, I think that the search for knowledge is a noble one. Uh, but when it's done properly, if you go searching for confirmation of whatever your previous idea of what the knowledge should be is, I don't think that's as fruitful. But yeah, I think I would dedicate it to people who go and to, you know how we always talk about the eternal student, those people that keep on searching for knowledge until the moment they die. I think that it's a very noble pursuit, and it's a lot of what's missing. That is exactly the opposite of what flat earthers do. The story is a good parallel with the whole flat earth debate. uh, Give your dedication, and then we can maybe talk about that uh, part. You are muted.
Bad. I am dedicating this to our wonderful, beloved friends, the Flat Earthers. I dedicate this whole story to them. We can learn all kinds of mantras. We can learn
Hmm.
all kinds of sayings and words and statements that we think has meaning. And sometimes it might have value in a moment. But most of the time, these words don't have any meanings or any value. And that's just, and we just want to try to find words and meanings that actually have value and are supportive for us.
Hmm. Um, I would like to briefly explain before we continue on to the next story. Two things. First of all, Mr. Jones, the debate has ended. The after show has ended. In this show, we are talking about stories, and this is a show which is mostly about humor, about maybe getting some tangential moral lesson. So don't ruin our show with your flat earth nonsense. Like, have fun with us, enjoy the jokes we're telling, enjoy the stories, which you surely don't know. And just like, let's get out of this flat earth nonsense. Now, going back to the other thing I wanted to say was that I wanted to briefly explain mantras. Most of you may very well be aware of the Hare Krishnas. The Hare Krishnas are a type of sort of like a subsect of Hinduism, or actually, well, they're a relation. And the reason they're called Hare Krishnas is because they repeat Hare Krishna, they repeat that phrase like a mantra. So they repeat it. Another one of the mantras is the Om phrase. So I'm saying word. You can repeat Om. And there's many. There's like Bhakti Vedanta, and there's many of those mantras, and they're believed to be words that have power through repetition. So that's for who may not have known, that is what a mantra is. Uh, Please remember to check Anathema's funding if you can share. He's been going through a very hard time in regards um, to his health. So if you can spare $1 for Shane, that would be awesome. And always make sure to click like share, subscribe, and do the social thing. Is I'm not going to yell now because if I do it one more time, my voice will go out definitely. Uh, it's a good story. It's a good lesson, like how some things, learning some things can be absolutely meaningless, and it happens to me that, for example, I am a very big collection of, I know hundreds of absolutely useless facts. I don't know if that happens to you. It's like, and people will sometimes ask me, how did you know that? I have no idea. I just know it. I maybe heard it somewhere. Does that happen to you too, Isa? You're muted.
Yeah, I feel there's a lot of information that doesn't really help us in general. I'd say that for me too. There's a lot of things that, does it really help? We have a short life, and we want to make the greatest impact that we can in our short life.
Hmm. All right. Next story.
Okay, give me 1 second.
Shane says, "Yeah, I will be good at Jeopardy. I know all kinds of useless shit too." Yes.
Okay, here we go. All right, our next story, we're going to follow right afterwards. This story is called The Students Blindly Copy Their Sheikh. So, sheikh is like guru, it means teacher. It's an Arabic word for teacher, where guru is Sanskrit.
Yes. Yes.
So, in a lot of these stories, we have South Asian teaching, Islamic teaching, Middle Eastern teaching. So, it's kind of a combination, as always. Good to see you, Shane, brother Shane. And definitely support. It's for a good cause. You want to support our modern day debates and Matters Now community. Did I share the picture of that story? The other story? I'm not sure if I did. I
No.
don't think so.
But
Okay, I'm going to share that.
you can go ahead if you want. Yep.
Yeah, I do. I want to. Here we go.
This is a good one. Sir Susan says, I know Vanessa lie. The talking, no, I'm sorry, the leaking. The font is very small in this view. The leaking of the Starliner is safe, but you must believe in space to agree. All right. Oh, shoot.
Can we see the
Oh,
picture?
yes. It's a bit small because of this view, but I don't think there's much we can do. But yeah, that looks.
So we see the robbers here, and we see the boy is singing. So
Yeah.
that is what I want to share with you. So you get to see the picture. There you go. All right, I am going to stop sharing, and then we are going to go to the next story.
All
I
right.
think in children's stories, we want to always have the pictures too. So this is our next Sufi story. This is called The Students Blindly Copy Their Sheikh. Once upon a time, there was a sheikh. He was teaching his students about God, and he decided it was time for them to learn the formal prayers. So he told the students, each one of you must come tomorrow with an earthenware pot. The next day, all the students arrived with their pots, and the sheikhs instructed them, follow me and do exactly as I do. Then he went and drew water from the well. All the students followed and did exactly as he did. He sat down, and they all sat down in a row. Now do as I do and say what I say, instructed the sheikh. Hold the pot in one hand, tilt it slightly to this way and that way, and say Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim.
Rahim.
Good job.
Yeah, I know it. I was going when you're about to end the last story. I was going to say Alhamdulillah, and I forgot.
Well, you'll say it this time.
Yes.
In the name of God, the most merciful, the most compassionate. Then pouring the water on the hands, say, La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. Other than you, there is no God. You are Allah, and Muhammad is the messenger of Allah. Tilt the pot this way, and that way, and this way. The sheikh was teaching them how to perform ablutions. Ablutions is like a water purification
Yeah, the
ritual.
washing rituals. Yes,
Yes, that Muslims do before they pray.
yes.
Um, but as he was showing them how to pour the water on their hands, his pot slipped. It fell to the ground and broke. So the students copied him, tilting their pots and pouring the water, and they all threw their pots on the ground and they broke them. Why did you do that? Asked the sheikh. You told us to do exactly as you did, replied the students. But my pot fell accidentally. Well, all right. Come tomorrow and bring another pot. This was just an accident. The disciples left, and the next day they came back with new pots. Again they performed their ablutions, and when they were finished, the sheikh said, Come, let us go pray. So they went to the mosque. In those days, the doorways of buildings were very low. This sheikh happened to be very tall, and as he entered the mosque, he hit his head against the beam of the door. When the students saw this, they also tried to hit their heads on the beam as they came through. Some were too short and they had to jump to hit their heads. There was one particularly short student and he kept jumping and jumping, trying to hit his head, but he could not reach the beam. All the others can hit their heads, he said sadly, but I cannot reach it. When the sheikh heard this, he said, What are you doing? I'm trying to hit my head, just like you did. But I'm too short. That was an accident, said the sheikh. I am tall and I hit my head accidentally. You should have tried to hit your head. Um, you should have not tried to hit your head, he scolded. But told but you told us to do exactly as you did, replied replied the student. Some time passed, and it was now the month of Ramadan, the traditional time of fasting. The sheikh told the students, We must all fast. Everyone must come early tomorrow morning to start the fast. The first one who comes will be given a present. Now, in Tamil, the language spoken by the sheikh, the words to start fast can also mean to catch the fast. So Tamil is a South Asian language, so this is a linguistic issue. The
Okay.
disciples took the words literally. They really did not know the meaning of the word fast. They thought it meant a person or an animal that they must catch. So they arrived early in the morning with hoes, hatchets, and ropes and clubs to catch the fast. And they divided into groups to look for it. One of the groups saw a man about 50 years old coming their way. They ran up carrying their weapons and asked who he was. I am fasting. Please do not harm me, he replied. He pleaded. Oh, you are the fast, replied the disciples. We have been looking all over for you without food and drink. The disciples shouted to one another, Catch him! Tie him! Beat him up! No, I am fasting! I am fasting! Cried the man. But they assaulted him with their hoes and clubs and felled him to the earth. They tied him to a long pole and carried him to the mosque and placed him before the sheikh. The surprised sheikh inquired, Where have you been? I have been looking for you. Where did you get this man? And they proudly replied, You told us to catch the fast, but he tried to run away. So we tied him up and brought him here. This is not fasting, replied the sheikh. This is an old man, and you have beaten him up. I told you to begin the fast, and you have gone and done this. The sheikh untied the ropes that bound the old man, revived him with water, and freed him. Then he explained about fasting in detail to his students. Is that so? They replied. We did not know. We thought we followed your instructions exactly. More time passed, and it was time for Hajj, the pilgrimage to Mecca. During
Oh,
the Hajj, prayer is usually held outside, and so the sheikh told the students, Let us go outside and pray. and he was walking and he stroked his beard, and a hair fell from it. One of the students grabbed it and as it fell, and the sheikh told
Oh.
him to break it into two and throw it away. But the student did not break it. He put it in his waistband, and another student saw him do this. "What did the sheikh give you?" he asked. "Nothing," replied the other student. "I cannot tell you. He gave it to me alone." "Give it to me," explained the jealous student. But the other student would not give it to him. While the sheikh was praying, the students heard about the hair from the sheikh's beard and started murmuring jealously among themselves that one of them had received a hair and the others did not. So they all rushed forward and pulled at the sheikh's beard. "Help! What are you doing?" yelled the sheikh. "We are taking a hair from your beard. This other student has one, but we don't." "That hair fell out of my beard accidentally. I told him to break it into and throw it away. If you do not break it, a spirit or demon can enter it and cause you trouble. I did not know he had kept it, but now the sheikh had no beard left at all, and the students felt very sorry. My children, from the very beginning of this world, we have imitated people like this. If one person worshipped a statue, his ancestors would worship the statue. If one man ate something different, his ancestors would also eat it. In this way, traditions are handed down. So many things can be misunderstood and then repeated by others, creating traditions that have continued to the present. Things have developed like this. And so in the present day, we still do some things without understanding why, just as it was done originally, without understanding why. If we really understand the truth, we will not hold these traditions. What is prayer? What is devotion? What is real life? What are we doing? What we are now doing is something that was done in the past without its meaning being understood. We perpetuate meaningless things. If our ancestors worshipped a snake, we worship it. If our ancestors worshipped a statue, we worship it. Our ancestors did not understand, and we do not understand, but we keep on doing it. We must use our wisdom and try to learn true knowledge. There was a time when Ceylon, known as Sri Lanka now, was
Uh-huh.
controlled by the Portuguese. In those days, the Portuguese were spreading the teachings of Christianity. They broke the religious statues, broke the Buddhas in the temples, and converted many people to Catholicism. They had a huge church at Chava Kacheri, where they told people to assemble on Sunday. The Portuguese also taught the people they should eat from plates, not leaves, as was the custom. The punishment for disobeying this rule was very vigorous. They even beheaded people for eating from leaves. The Portuguese were very happy about many converts, but still they had an army composed of men from Java to inspect people's homes to check whether or not they were fasting or worshiping idols. Now, the Catholics used the symbol of the cross, while the local people used the trident, which looks like a three-pronged fork, to represent their dog god. They would plant three sticks in their garden and worship them. Each house had these three sticks. It was also the custom to eat from a plantain leaf when completing the fast in honor of this god. The villagers, though, through fear of the Portuguese, hid these leaves in the roof. In those days, the roofs were made out of leaves, so they could hide the plantain leaf on which they had eaten on the beam supporting the edge of the roof. If they had thrown out the dirty leaves, the Portuguese would have known they were fasting. Even today, people in Jaffna, that's a part of Sri Lanka,
Mm-hmm.
Ceylon, still use plantain leaves to eat on. And when they fast, they put their plantain leaf under the roof. It is now about 400 years since the Portuguese invaded Ceylon, but people still hide their plantain leaves under the roof. Such practices are perpetuated without understanding the meaning or how it came to be. For the last 200 million years, man has been copying uh, what has what was done before him without really knowing what it was done for. One day I was walking in Jaffna and I asked some people why they put their leaves under the roof after eating. And they said, We do it because our ancestors did it. We really do not know the meaning of it. I guess it is so the dogs won't eat them. So then I told them the story about the Portuguese. My children, we also copy what our ancestors did without knowing the meaning of it. Only if we have wisdom can we find the true meaning of the things we do. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. I seek Allah's protection from Satan, the accursed one. Ameen.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
Uh, yeah, there's some things that I've learned along the way, like the Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I do recognize also a little bit the prayer, the Salat, but I can't say it. I can't repeat it, but I do recognize it. And when you said Shaitan, I recognize that immediately, because it comes up a lot. Do you want to ask me, or should I just go into the dedication?
I do want to ask you, who are you dedicating this story to?
I think I don't have many traditions, I am a person of custom, but I'm not like really superstitious, so I don't have any tradition. But I will dedicate it because I've never done it before. So I'll dedicate this to my mom, who my mom used to think. I don't know if you guys have this over there, but I need to go into a little bit of an explanation. On the 29th of each month here in Uruguay, it's customary to eat gnocchi. You know those little like pellet pasta from Italy? So it's also customary. It's a double custom. You eat gnocchi on the 29th, and then it's also customary to put money below your gnocchi plate, and that is supposed to multiply the money somehow. Yes, Shady got it perfectly written. Thank you for that. I was going to type it, but so yeah, gnocchi, GNOCC. So yeah. So when you eat gnocchi, you put money below the gnocchi, and that's supposed to somehow multiply it. Who do you want to dedicate this one to?
I want to dedicate this story to us because this story is so relevant to us as people. We as people copy and imitate and do all kinds of things that are really kind of mindless. We don't really think about the traditions and cultures we do. And then we get mad. I think both of these stories show this, that we get mad when people challenge our customs, but we don't even know why we're doing them. We just do them because other people do them. And then I think about, these things where people do these like flash mobs and mob rule things, and someone starts throwing stones, then everybody starts throwing stones. One person starts protesting, everyone starts protesting. People don't know what they're protesting. People don't know what they're throwing stones at. Huh?
Remember planking, when people used to plank?
Oh, is that like with the flash mobs or?
Yeah, it was one of these fads when I was a teenager, that it was about, like, for example, going to, let's say, a table and laying like a plank, laying on top of it. Hold on, let me pull it up. I'll show
Yeah,
you.
pull it up.
Planking. Yeah, that was just like a useless internet file from a couple of years ago. Internet file images. Share. Yeah, that was. It has no explanation, right? It's just people being like super weird. I don't know if you can see this like that. For example, this is a guy planking on a basketball hoop. No.
Do you know another tradition that people did? They ate Tide Pods because
Yes,
the
the Tide Pod challenge. Yeah, I remember
and they
that
say
one.
that will cure COVID. And I'm like, it's the same kind of thing. You hear one person doing it, and then you just mindlessly do it. And I'm like, you don't even know what's in the Tide Pod. You don't know what kind of chemicals are in there. But then you hear someone saying, "Oh, it will cure COVID or any disease." You're like, "Oh,
Yeah, so this was planking, and a bunch of people got hurt, and it has no like it's a crazy custom. And then we get into the like superstition territory because this quickly leads into superstition territory.
do you know there was another crazy thing? There was these creepy pasta. Like they had these like weird
Yeah,
stories that people would read, and it's the same kind of. And that's like our modern day forms of this type of thing. Just lots of crazy nonsense, and people are just going and just following things that really have no value or merit, but they're doing it because other people did it.
yeah, it's a weird thing. Superstition and being afraid of like my mother would actively avoid going down a ladder. I wouldn't care. I would just go. Or people who have weird customs like my great grandmother used to uh, take a suitcase, like a traveling suitcase, on January 1st at 12:01 when the new year started. She would grab a suitcase, an empty suitcase, and take it one lap around the block because that would mean that you would get more travel. That is
You know
that.
what's also interesting too, with these kind of superstitions is I was thinking about I put the picture of this story too. I don't know if people can see it, but
Yeah, hold on, wait. I need to share it. There we go.
so Sufi tradition is very similar to Catholic tradition. There's a lot of overlap. You have like these saints, you have saintly figures, and you also have people collecting amulets and talismans. That's a
Yeah,
very big thing in the Catholic tradition. And so that's why these people are collecting these person's hair. That's what they did with the saints too. They collect tooths, teeth, and hair, and any kind of a piece of clothing. It's something that's very, very familiar. Like a Catholic and Sufi, they're going to have like Saint Francis of Assisi actually went to see the Sufis, so it's like there's a lot of common ground between the Sufis and the Catholics in that regard. Um, but the situation is they're collecting his hair because it's like a relic. This is a talisman and a relic that
right.
that you would have, and they think that will help them. They have this holy person that gives them the relic, and they want it. That's why they're all trying to collect it. And that's why the guide is like, you have to split it and get rid of it because people are all going to want this relic, And you see that they all
Ah.
suffered because he lost his beard. So,
And yeah, in the end, they took so many hairs that he got shaved for free by plucking his hairs. That was crazy.
and unwillingly because he didn't want to be shaved.
Yes. What's the reason why they leave the beard? Why is that? I muted.
Most of these traditions have beards because it shows kind of wisdom and sagaciousness. I think most spiritual traditions that even if we look at ancient medieval stuff, you see like in even Dungeons and Dragons, you see like the mages and the sorcerers, they all have large beards because it showcases wisdom. It
Mm-hmm.
showcases kind of spiritual knowledge and
Right.
passage of time. So that's why I think ancient traditions have these beards. Why, like a Salafi Wahhabi might have a beard, is because what are they doing? They're imitating the Prophet Muhammad.
Right.
So it's an
Okay.
imitation. But funny enough, it's relating just to the story. They're just imitating this thing, and they say, "I'm doing it because I'm imitating. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
doing, and I don't know why it happened, but I'm doing it because this person did it." But I would say the real reason is people had these beards because it showcased their wisdom and their sagaciousness. So yeah.
Gotcha. And there was another part of the story which I could personally relate to. And given that I don't think we have enough time to do another one, so we can just ramble on a bit until the end of the show. But uh, on the beginning of the story when the what was it, the name of the teacher, Shake.
Yes, the shake.
So when the Shake throws the water accidentally on the floor, I used to work at McDonald's. So we were closing up for the day, and the person that was training me told me, "Hey, take this little tub thing, Tupperware, and fill it with water." I filled it up. I bring it over to the person, and they tell me, "Oh yeah, yeah." It makes a bit more sense in Spanish, but he told me, "Leave it there on the floor." So I just like grabbed it and tossed it like I was going to sweep the floor. It's like, and the guy was like, "No, no, no! What are you doing?" He's like, "You told me to put it on the floor. I thought that's what you meant." He said, "No, just like set it down on the floor. Are you crazy?" And then the other thing that made me laugh, I think you were there. Remember Samir, the Muslim guy? He was very friendly, very strong debater. Had very strong opinions, but a very friendly guy, very cool guy. Hasn't been around anymore. So if you're seeing this, Samir, uh, hello, come back. We miss you.
I'm sure he
Uh,
would love Sufi stories. I think he would be into this personally.
yes, definitely. And
Do you mind if I tell one more story too? I have a short story too. I have one more cool story.
okay, sure. One more
It's
short
three
one.
pages. After yes, it's 3 pages, so it's much shorter.
Okay, sure. Um, Samir, one day we were talking about the whole, it was after a Nadir debate and blah, blah, blah. And we were talking about the whole idea of the ablutions before Salat, before the prayer. And I, I had never heard this explanation. And Samir told me, yeah, one of the reasons they wash themselves is because when they're gathered and they're praying, it kind of sucks you going to the floor on the mat and smelling the feet of the guy in front of you. And that made me laugh so hard. But he didn't take it the wrong way because I laughed because it's like, dude, that's a very good explanation. But it's a funny thing to consider that, at least to me. So, Samir, that's a very good memory, and hope you're back sometime soon. So
So
that was
that
so
was an interesting explanation. It's very different than what I know. In general, when the word is called wudu in Arabic, the
fun.
revolution, and so wudu, the whole point is it's a spiritual purification. It's the same because it's coming out of the Hebrew tradition too. Hebrew
Yes.
tradition do a lot of water spiritual cleansing rituals. They're not physical. So like when Mr. Nadir brings up like germ theory, that isn't the purpose of these rituals. So
Yes.
it's actually a very dishonest thing to say that it isn't. It is not physical purification. It's spiritual purification, and it's using these physical materials to do a spiritual purification. So it's kind of weird to kind of like retcon it. And I think people now use soap and stuff, but that wasn't the intent of it. It wasn't a
Right.
physical cleansing. It was a spiritual cleansing. So, and it's
Yeah, there's no one who will. I don't remember the exact day when we started manufacturing soap, but there's no one that will make Nadir acknowledge that he's wrong on that. And even I know that. And that he's wrong, that these are ritual ablutions to present yourself purified before God.
that's
And
correct.
he just goes like, "Oh no, it's germs." Like, oh my Lord, dude, come on. All
It's
right, one
not
final story
it's
because my
great.
voice is about to fully give out today. I don't know what's happening. I think I need to go to voice training because the last few long shows that we've been doing, my voice has been suffering really bad. I don't know what's happening.
All right, this is our last story of the night. It's a short one. It has got a great picture.
All
So
right.
I will show the picture. I can
Okay, give me 1 second. Let me get water.
yeah. I'll show the picture right now because it's right here.
Or right?
So I'll show the picture because it's right in the beginning.
Okay. There we go. Is that a swan?
It is. This story is called The Swan and the Hungry Fox.
The
It says,
swan and the hungry fox.
on the
Okay.
shore there was a fox watching a very plump swan. Satan took the form of another fox and approached him. So there's Satan. We can see Satan on the left and the fox on the right. Got to be careful about Satan there.
Ah, shaitan.
That's correct. So here is our final story. The Swan and the Hungry Fox. My grandchildren, I love you. Once there was a swan, a beautiful white swan swimming on a lake, catching and eating fish. On the shore, there was a fox watching this very plump swan and thinking, when will I be able to eat this swan? When will I be able to eat this swan? But the fox could never catch the swan because it remained in the middle of the lake and would take off in flight from that spot. The fox came each day at sunrise to watch the swan until it flew away. He made no effort to find any other food for himself, and so he became weak and lean. He was starving. Now Satan took the form of another fox and approached him, asking, why are you worried? What are you thinking about so deeply? Why don't you go somewhere else and get some food instead of starving here? When the fox heard this, he thought, if I tell this fox my secret, he will eat the swan too. He will want to eat the swan too. And even though he was almost dying, the fox made up a story. No, no, no. I'm not worried about anything. I don't want a share of your food, said Satan. Just tell me what's bothering you. No, no, you had better leave right away. I'm here for a special reason of my own. I came to take care of you, replied Satan. I can help you know. So why don't you tell me the truth? Is that so? What possible help could you give me? Asked the fox. Your focus, your intention on the swan, 24 hours a day. And that is why you're starving. If you want, I can bring it to you, bring it here to you. All right, replied the fox. Do that. Then Satan took the form of a stork, flew out to the swan on the lake, and struck up a friendly conversation. My brother, how are you? Why are you all alone out here? Now the stork has very long legs, and the swan has very short legs. So the swan replied, you have long legs, and your work is very different than mine. I swim about here and catch little fish, but you can catch big ones. We are not actually related to each other. You are a large creature, and I am small. So please mind your own business. We are both from the same family, said the stork. Let's go to the shore and discuss the matter. The swan said, I spend half of my life on the water and the other half on the shore. You spend half of your life on the shore and the other half in the trees. So just go about and do your own business. You are different than me. Please go away. For 2 or 3 days, Satan, disguised as a stork, tried to persuade the swan to come ashore. Finally, the swan gave in, and they both came to shore. Then the stork said, come with me. I have a friend whom I would like you to meet. When the swan saw the fox, it thought, I wonder why this stork brought me here. There must be some connection between the stork and the fox. That's why I was persuaded to come here. But the starving fox was thinking, this fellow who was formerly a fox is now a stork. If he changes back to a fox, he will eat the swan before I can, so I better kill him first. If he becomes a fox again, he will eat the swan and I will lose it. I had better eat him first and then the swan. That is what the fox had in mind. Now the stork, not knowing this, the stork approached him and said, very well, I have brought you the swan. Now let us be friends. But almost before he could finish the sentence, the fox leaped at the stork's neck and got hold of it. Hey, what are you doing? I brought food for you. The stork choked out. "You are like me," answered the fox. "If I let you go, you will eat the swan, so I have to eat you first." And the fox held the stork firmly in the neck, shaking it back and forth. The swan watching this, thinking both of them wanted to eat me. "It is a good thing I did not come to the shore earlier, or I would be dead by now." And it flew away in a hurry. Then Satan, who had been bitten by the fox, turned back to the fox. "Hey, I came to help you, and now you have bitten me. You have hurt me. Is this any way to repay me? I was on your side, but now I'm not going to help you anymore." Then he took the form of Satan, the form of darkness. Don't you know what don't you know that I belong to the dog family and that dogs and Satan are mortal enemies?" asked the fox. "Dogs and Satan have always been enemies. When foxes see anything dark, they bark and howl. That is their nature. You should have taken a different form to help me. If you had not taken the same form as I, you might have helped me. But you did take my form, and therefore I had to attack you before you grabbed the swan for yourself." "Oh, fox," replied the Satan, "I did come to help you, but you are the cause of your own ruin. What can I do? You are smarter than I am. You are so intelligent," he said mockingly, "but you have ruined your own life." And then Satan left. Like this, my children, arrogance, karma, and illusion try to devour the beautiful qualities of God in a man's life, qualities of which resemble the whiteness of a swan. Satan comes to devour us by making friends with us, my children. Satan's qualities present themselves to us, feigning friendship, but luring us to a place where we will be devoured. Illusion and desire keep trying to devour us, while Satan lures us to the place where the illusion can kill us. Satan takes many forms. He uses those which can trick us into ruining our pure iman, our pure soul, our pure light. We must therefore first of all destroy whatever tries to trick us. If each of us would be as careful as the swan, we would not fall victim to this treachery, and we would not be deceived. We would escape. Illusion and Satan have many tricks. We should never become entangled with the dog of desire or the monkey of the mind, because the dog needs hell and the monkey needs illusion of the world. If we do become entangled, we are easy victims. We must escape. Think about this, my children. It is good to escape like the swan. We must try to fly away from that evil connection. We must always live in the lake of grace and eat the food of grace and spend our entire life in the peace of God's kingdom. Then we will escape. We must be aware of this at all times, because those satanic qualities will try to trick us. Desire and illusion will try to trick us and lead us astray. Therefore, beware. Think about this, my grandchildren. Try to escape from illusion. Then you will triumph in your life. Amin. I love you.
All right.
Who do you dedicate the story to, brother?
I have the perfect dedication. I'm going to send everyone a link here in the side chat of a piece of news I read a couple of days ago, and this is so serendipitous. It turns out that in a prison in Brazil, they, instead of using guard dogs, they traded them for geese. So now they have guard geese in order to keep the inmates inside the prison instead of guard dogs, because geese are actually like very territorial, and they will attack you. And I don't know if you if you ever seen like a geese up close. They're quite big, and they come with their like big head and long neck, and they go like "Ah," and they attack you. So I will dedicate this to the prisoners of Brazil, which are being held inside the prison by geese.
Okay, so I think I will dedicate this story um, to making good friends. To
Uh-huh.
us to the good friend, because there's all these kind of friends with trickery. there's these so-called friends that aren't really your friends, and they're out to get you and to trick you. And so I seek this out to us to make sure that we have good friends that we bring close to us, not those who try to hurt us and deceive us.
All right, that's a very good dedication. Sorry, hiccups. The conversation in the side chat has been really weird tonight, but Shane and It's Probing Time have been sharing combat stories. But it's good that it happened. But it's been strange. Also, earlier today, I had to ban a person who just came in to the room, a guy called Mike, and he said, "Show us your penis, you gay nerd." So that got him like automatically banned. So we've added one person extra to the ban list. I don't know. People are weird. It's a risk to do a show this late in the evening. All right. This week we haven't had much content. Alt has been quite busy. I'm sorry, no, busy, not busy. He's been not feeling too good. So today we did a pre-show and an after show of a debate on MDD. Very underwhelming, but we got some flat earth claims made at the end of the after show, which we went into for a little while we were waiting for Isa, who had to step out for a moment. And tomorrow I'm planning on doing a video about some of the claims that Evidence of God did. He made a video, and so he was making some claims, and we're going to go through those. So that will be tomorrow in the afternoon, probably around 6 or 7. And then on Sunday, I think we have a debate between Nadir and Heated Debates, which I find kind of fascinating. I'm very anxious to watch that debate because they're both really bad at debating. So to me, that is going to be an amazing debate because they're both really bad. So I have no way of predicting what's going to happen. I think
So
Nadir
funny
is
enough,
a
I'm
little.
so with you. It was so bad. Like when we've seen both of them debate, like they go off topic. They don't focus on what is the subject. They go into like sensationalism. I'm like, this is not how you debate. You don't go into sensationalization. But you're right. I agree. I think it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be better than these flat Earth debates. Like we need a palette swap, a palette cleanser, because these flat Earth debates are insanely bad. Like they're just not good. You have a person who's like being a teacher and teaching science, and then you just hear a person's like, what are you talking about? I don't trust any books except my books. I don't trust any videos except my videos. And I'm like,
Wait, before I forget, can you? I don't know how you talk to Hussein, but can you remind him that I really want to set up the drug legalization debate that I challenged him to? I really want to do that because that would be a really good topic to go into on MDD. So don't do it now. Just if you want to do it later, or send me his contact over Discord or something. But I would really love to set that up because that would be an interesting conversation. And oh, look at Shane. Don't worry, Max is a dear friend and doesn't mind. Yeah, I don't really mind. I was just, it caught my attention that you were swapping like war stories, but it's fine. You can do whatever you want in the side chat. Isa too, and he says, we are both lovely humans. So thank you so much, Shane. A big part of me being here is actually owed to you and me being a mod over the MDD Discord and a mod over the MDD side chat. So I really appreciate you, Shane. It's awesome. So next week in the Tell Me That Story show, we are going to talk about Quakers. You know the Quakers?
I went to a friend's school, so yeah, I know them very well.
All
Uh,
right.
yeah.
We're going to talk about the Quakers. That will be our next chat. I'm taking over main chat duties. So before my voice finally gives out, thank you, Isa. The stories that you bring and these Sufi stories have been really good. I really enjoy uh, hearing stuff that I've never heard before. It's a sublime experience to get to know a lot of these things, and uh, always remembering that these are kids stories, and they treat very mature subjects, and they have very deep moral lessons, like for example way more than Aesop's fables. If we look at the juxtaposition of those two types of kids stories, these are way more mature, and that is very interesting. That is really really interesting. And we get it's like when we do the 1001 nights, we get a very deep insight into what the life of these people in the past was like, and the stuff that they were concerned about. So it's supremely interesting. Anything else you would like to say, Isa, before we wrap it up for tonight and we go away?
Yeah, I do. I like these stories too, these particular collections, because I think they're very biting, and I think that's good. I think you need stories that are tough and intense, and they wake you up. And you don't may not agree with everything that's in the story, but the common thread about just like our human lives and stuff like that, that has value. And I think that's what I like about these stories is that they go deeper. Like, for example, do we waste our time imitating other people? Yeah, we do. Do we invest in educations that are probably pretty empty? Yeah, we do that too. Do we take on bad friends that lead us into really terrible places? Yeah, we do. We do all of this stuff. It's very relevant to us as people. And like even the other stories, we can be really hasty and make really bad choices, and we hurt ourselves and we hurt our loved ones. So
Mhm.
I love things that make you think deeper. And I agree. I don't think the Aesop's fables really, the way that these stories are written, it's like you're going even in like 5 to 10 pages, you're going into a whole new world. We're go we're going into a whole new world, and that's what's important. Because stories that just we follow these characters, we get to know them, we get to be connected to them, we get to love them, we get to hate them, we get to cry for them, and that's so different than you're right. Like an Aesop's fable, it's like you're here, you're there. It doesn't. You don't really feel connected to the narrative that's being weaved. But in these short stories, we are, and we feel very intimate to the person who's telling us the story, and we feel like that we're going on a journey. And I think those are the best kind of stories. So I hope we could do more because we have like hundreds of stories in these collections.
Oh
So
yeah,
we've got a lot of material. So I hope we
I
can get
think
another one for sure.
I think this one would be good. It's funny that you bring this up. Plato's Cave Shadows, because the flat earther Shane made a post about this very thing, and to be perfectly honest, the flat earth movement gives me a lot of these vibes of Plato's cavern and the shadows. But we might do a chat on that at some point. So stay tuned, Shifty. Everyone else, thank you for joining us today in the Tell Me That Story show. People have been filtering in and out. For this show, this format works so much better because the discoverability of the show is way, way higher. So we will continue to do it on this format. Isa, it's always a pleasure listening to you and the insights, your stories, and the moral lessons we get. And we'll catch you on the next Tell Me That Story show Wednesday, 9 p.m., unless there is a debate on MDD. Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And we'll catch you on the next one. We're going to talk about Quakers. Yeehaw! Thank you, everyone. Take care. Have a good night.